Okay, what's going on, everybody? My name is Mangg. Welcome back to Hanging with Mangg. We are playing Power Wash Simulator 2, the demo. I'm probably going to lower that. That's probably going to get pretty annoying in like 3 seconds. I have never played a Power Wash Simulator game. I have no interest, really, in Power Wash simulators or anything like this, but I figure for Hanging with Mangg, this is a pretty perfect thing where I can just lose myself in washing a truck and while I chat. Right. So obviously I still have not been playing many other games this week. It's mostly been solo RPGs and a couple of other things, but not much. And that's good. You know, the thing is, like, when I'm into solo RPGs and I'm into playing them, they kind of just supplant a lot of other experiences that I would normally like video game RPGs, you know? Like Wrath of the Righteous. It's a little tough to want to play Wrath of the Righteous when I can play a solo RPG and have so much more flexibility and freedom as to how I approach situations. And the fact that I've played Wrath of the Righteous a good number of times now. A little tricky, but it goes for a lot of games, I guess. Like Skyrim or something. I used to fire up Skyrim like once a year and mod it up and stuff, but now it's like, yeah, I don't know. It's a lot of hassle. Solo RPG, I just sit down and go, and it's also very free form. I don't have to worry about modding and installing and downloading and configuring and just go. I don't know. It's obviously something I enjoy quite a bit. Well, it really gets in there, huh? There is something just very oddly appealing, isn't there? Yeah, so I'm sure I'll be back to video games before too long. They never stay away that long. But we'll see. So yeah, I've been recording solo RPGs. I've been doing a lot of stuff with Shadow Dark. Doing a lot of house ruling for Shadow Dark to try to get it to where I'm happy with it. Combining a lot of rules from Axe. And we're getting not that far off from the point probably where I'm just going to try playing Axe and see how it goes. But the biggest thing stopping me is combat and how I feel like even if I really just knew the rules in and out for Axe, it still would be kind of slow combat. Holy shit. But yeah, Shadow Dark, it's very flexible, it's very hackable, and the combat by default is just so fast. Oh, you can change nozzles. Okay. Oh god, I'm stripping the paint. That's probably not good. Whoops. Huh. Anyways, I am getting distracted in the end anyways. Right. So Yeah, yeah, a lot of Shadow Dark, and I think Shadow Dark's probably going to be almost certainly our next campaign I run with my family. I assume there's a reason I wouldn't just use like this hot water or whatever all the time. I think it's probably bad for something, I'd imagine. Um, and then Lego and I, we did Two Brothers Play this week, and we were doing Tales of Argosa stuff, but we actually have a RPG session tomorrow, and a new campaign with some friends starting up, which is very exciting with Draw Steel. Not that I'm super excited about Draw Steel, because I think it's very combat heavy, but we'll see how it goes. And it's just going to be great to play with a proper DM again. I haven't been able to do that in many years. And play with Lego for the first time. I mean, we've been doing this duo thing, but we're basically both DMs. It's not the same thing at all. So that'll be fun. But yeah, so we have a session on Monday with that. We have a session on Wednesday with the family. So we figured it was just kind of a little bit too much. So we decided to put a slight pause on it, do some Archipelago, and hopefully pick it up next Saturday. And then other than that, more Dominions as always is happening, and Wizardry, getting pretty close to Wizardry 6 and 7. The more sort of refined games in the franchise. And that's sort of it, I guess. More solo RPGs. The Vagabond stuff I just recently recorded, but I figured it's a brand new game. I don't really chase trends or views or anything like that, but I figure there might be some people that see it and might look up videos on it. I might be interested in what someone has to say, and if they're willing to sit through like 8 hours of of me rambling, then there you go. And that's that. Over on the Exploring series, we had Prince Among Men. Right. Yes, the 90s sitcom SCP. I think a lot of people that did watch it enjoyed it. It did all right for views, nothing amazing. As well as I could have hoped, to be honest. And yeah, I don't know if it was just the sitcom theme or what, but it just inspired me to make a lot of quips throughout that video and make jokes at multiple sitcoms' expense. I'm a big sitcom fan. Most of my life I've been watching sitcoms in one form or the other. A big part of my childhood and everything, and I still, at least once a year go all the way through like Seinfeld and Becker and maybe Roseanne or Fresh Prince, a lot, stuff like that. But yeah, there's certainly some sitcoms I feel pleased to make fun of. And then I guess this week, just like, oh my god, how does this get so filthy? Like drove it through a dust storm or something. I don't know. I had to end this week's video with another Becker quote, so I kept the sitcom love alive a little bit longer. This week's SCP was 9900, single file. Another one from the 9000 contest. And Yeah, it's definitely a lot more philosophical than horror this time. Which, I start the video. It's really a perfect representation of myself. I start the video with a quote from Thomas Ligotti from The Conspiracy Against Humankind, or Against the Human Race, and then I end the video with a quote from Becker. It's like, yeah, that you wanna summarize Mangg. There you go. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. And then I think this week is the part 1 of a 2-parter. I think it's Fractal is the 9,000 entry that's winning right now. So it actually works out pretty well then, because then it's a 2-parter, so I'll finish that, and then I get to go on my January hiatus, and then I'll have 4 videos throughout January to upload. To everyone's disappointment. And taking a break, especially after I already kind of took a break, but that wasn't really a fun break. That was a hospital medical break. That's not quite the same. Hey, Phil. Nothing much is up. And that's yeah, that's good. So, you know, it's, I don't know if I really deserve a hiatus or anything, but I'm going to take one regardless. What else do we got? Well, then it's just our group RPG session that we did on Wednesday, which was quite a doozy. And actually, it started out for quite a while being really low impact, like nothing was going to happen. And then it ended with like, oh shit, this campaign's not going to go on for that much longer. It started with them in the Barrow Maze, down in the dungeons, and Lego was late, so they're like, okay, well, let's just start without him. I'm like, okay, he's your paladin, he's your, like, combat leader, he has all the holy abilities, but sure. So they walked through a door, and they immediately get attacked by 6 wights. And wights are, like, you know, sort of better zombies. Like, okay. And I figured they were about to go through that door, so, you know, like, all right. And so they leapt into combat as usual, and it's never like, oh, well, let's just shut the door and leave them there until, and, you know, we'll come back once we have Lego. Like, no, just do it. The fight didn't go super poorly or anything. Lego did show up partway through, and a couple of them ended up getting hit by the wights and failing their save. So they got this necrotizing touch. Like, basically their flesh started to kind of rot off. And it was a lengthy thing. They had to get a cure disease spell cast on them. Otherwise, they would suffer some damage every round and they couldn't be healed. Or every day, and they couldn't be healed. For these vehicles, you're going to always want to use the red power washer. For landmarks, you want to use blue power. Oh, okay. Yeah, I question, like, why you'd ever not want to use the hot water. So I figure there was a reason. But yeah, this does seem a lot better. So they had this necrotizing flesh thing. They finished the fight, and then they ended up getting a random encounter with some zombies. But they all survived. But they're like, okay, we're out of here. Lego was out of all his abilities. They were low on health. They're like, let's screw it. Let's get out of here. So they teleported out again. leaving dungeon. I mean, they were in there for like, half an hour. And they took another long rest in town. Oh no, they didn't take a long rest because there was no priest there that could cure their disease. And it's like, well, there's either, this town under siege to the north that they keep neglecting, or there's the big city that's like 2 weeks away on foot. So they're like, well, let's just try to buy some horses and stuff. And we did, the rolls, and there weren't any horses for sale in this small community that probably values their horses quite a bit. But I did look on the map, and I don't know, I feel like when I had ChatGPT alter the map and the population a little bit, they must have added a freight service that I never noticed, and I'm not sure why a freight service would even exist here. But rather than change it, I was like, okay, there's a branch of Haverson's Freight here that probably dealt with deliveries between the town and Stoneford to the north. But they with the town under siege up north, they really have not much to do. So the two guys that work there are just playing cards all day and stuff. They're like, okay, well, can we hire you to take us to the big city? And they agreed. The price was pretty darn reasonable, and they went. And there was like no encounters on the way. It was really peaceful. They ended up at the big city. They got their disease cured. They went to the Temple of Bahamut, of course, because Lego's a paladin. And so they wouldn't have charged Lego, but they charged his heathen companions. And so that was all good. They then did some shopping. They had things to sell. They had things to buy. They bought like masterwork gear for all. They bought personal upgrades for all themselves, because the plan was they were going to go back to the dungeon, get more levels and treasure and all that, and hopefully find enough money to hire an army to wipe out the warlord's army. So they loaded themselves up. They bought horses. They started traveling back to their home. And that's when we rolled a random encounter, and they end up rolling the treasure cache, where they just randomly find buried treasure, hidden treasure. It's like, okay, I mean, that's a nice little windfall for them, right? Like, they're in the grasslands on a road or something, so it's not super high value. The average value listed was going to be around 5,000 gold. Okay, 5,000 is pretty nice, but it's not insane. But it's rolled randomly. And it's rolled randomly, for the silver pieces. It's rolled randomly for copper, gold, electrum, gems, jewelry, magic items. And Lego rolled each one in turn. He rolled the most insane string of rolls I could have really fathomed. The average value of that was meant to be around 5,000. The total value they ended up with was 34,000 gold. I mean, they couldn't really believe it. I couldn't really believe it. It was insane. So they immediately turned around, went back to the big city. And now are in talks to hire like a mercenary company to be their army in order to fight this enemy army. And so we started the discussion of how or what they'd want to hire, or what sort of troops they should hire, that kind of thing. But we kind of ended the session there, and I need to read up on the. I'm going to try using the Hell March supplement for Shadow Dark for the mass combat, and we're going to try to actually play it out a little bit more than just do one roll combat. I think it should be more of a set piece kind of experience when you have a big army fighting the big. I mean, this is the major aspect of the campaign, is defeating the warlord's army. And had they done more guerrilla style tactics and warfare, you know, maybe that would have dragged it out longer, but they could have avoided some giant conflict. But I imagine the plan was always probably that they were going to come into enough money that they could hire an army and take it into a big battle. This guy's really dedicated to his job, man. So I also have to kind of figure out the composition of the warlord's army, because he's also got like monstrous troops. He's got like orcs and ogres. Maybe he's got like a manticore or something like that. So I need to figure out the exact composition of his army and how that's going to play out. I think it would probably be the most interesting to have like a manticore or something big that the players can just fight directly with their own characters, and then we also do the mass combat for all the troops. But I'm imagining he has about, I don't know, 2,000, 2,500 troops or something like that. And depending on what type of units the players recruit, they're kind of in that ballpark. I mean, if they just go with pure light infantry, they can actually get like 5,000 troops for a month. But if I make the restriction be that they have to hire them for at least 2 months because of travel time and all that sort of stuff, that cuts down on their troop availability quite a bit. They'd pretty much have to go with like just light infantry for the most part, and then they'd be kind of undermanned. So I'm not sure. A lot of the warlord's troops are going to be light infantry, but yeah, I mean, it's not great because the players don't have any recon at all as to what his army consists of. And usually I would imagine if you're a mercenary company that's going to lend out thousands of soldiers, you want it to be kind of an overwhelming number. Like your victory is kind of guaranteed. So chances are, if I were to run this a bit more realistically, they would not even recruit, they would not even lend out soldiers to this ragtag bunch of adventurers. But just for the sake of like, yeah, this is a big set piece for the campaign, this is what they're looking forward to, it's fine. And so that's where we left off, and I'll have a tale next week of how the big battle goes, because that's definitely what they're set on doing. And I'll also have a tale of how this new Draw Steel campaign starts out. I will be playing, of course, my standard favorite character that I played many times before, Artemis. 14-year-old psionic character that belongs to kind of a failed noble house. And the other characters are going to be, I think Lego's playing like a sworn knight of the household. Bit of like a protector character. And then my other friend, I'm not quite sure what he's playing. Technically, we're going to make characters tomorrow, but I think we've all kind of already looked at all our character stuff ahead of time. We've had enough time to think. Truck bed. Oh, I see. Like just some glimmer of dirt. Guy would never have noticed that, but we're dedicated. Oh, God. Yeah, okay, I gotta say, there is something, yeah, very strangely satisfying about that. It's not something I would ever normally sit down and play, because it's... Because, like, if I was just sitting here, I would feel like I could just be playing a video game. You know, like, this almost feels more like work, in a way, of, like, an activity. Like, I feel like I could be doing something more engaging with my time. But for hanging with Mangg, it's pretty perfect. Because it's like, okay, I gotta do this thing, guys. I gotta do this thing. I can talk though while I do it. It's all right. I just gotta do this sort of thing. Like I gotta get this job done, but I can chat while we're here. Anyways, so yeah, that's it. More solo role manging, more Dominions, of course. Also, oh, I really almost want to go back to Dominions right now and record more shit because there's been 2 recent big mod drops. Well, one way bigger than the other. Actually, I guess there's been a few mod drops since I stopped recording. Yeah, they like right around when I stopped recording, people were like, okay, release all this awesome shit now to draw them back in. So one of them that's the smallest of the 3 things is a mod that adds the Frieza Force from Dragon Ball Z with some awesome sprites that look like they were taken. I don't know if they were hand drawn for this or just taken from like a Game Boy Advance game or something like that. But yeah, it adds all the Frieza Force. It adds the Ginyu Force, Frieza, Cooler, Vegeta. You can get like various your sacreds are Saiyans. And they can like change into the ape form or whatever. Yeah, it's really badass looking. I'm really interested in trying that. The other one that was looking really cool is a mod with Fire Emblem nations. So it adds like, gosh, I don't remember how many. I think it's like 5 or 6 or something like that. Various nations based on Fire Emblem games and like factions from Fire Emblem. A lot of, you know, sprites basically taken straight from the Game Boy Advance game and stuff. I'd be really tempted to try all those. The only issue with that one is that it's entirely in French. And my French is, well, not great. I probably could read a few things, and it's like, it's hard to say because numbers are still numbers. So it's hard to say how much we'd really lose by just playing it and trying to read it and translate it. But yeah, I'd be very interested in checking it out. But then the last thing, the biggest thing, there's now a new set of nations from Elden Ring. The mod is called The Shattering. It adds Stormvale, Leyndell, Caelid, Liurnia, Ephael, Gelmir, then the Deeproot Depths, Mogwin, and Nokron. So it adds 9 nations, each with 2 custom pretenders, over 600 new hand-drawn sprites. And, I mean, you'll see it when I eventually do play the mod, but these sprites are phenomenal. Like, probably the best sprite work in the game. that I've seen. Like, they're really fantastic Elden Ring pixel art stuff. New magic sites and spells, changes to most vanilla weapons, a unique campaign map, which is apparently coming soon. They have like a bit of a timeline for what they're adding. They're adding more independence, recruitable summons, a unique map, an overhaul to the Cataclysm mechanic, and then apparently some more new nations as well. Like, and it's like a total overhaul. You can't play this with any other modded nations or any vanilla nations. So you're in it just with the Elden Ring stuff. So I assume then the map is going to be based on the Elden Ring map somehow. Like, I don't know. It's it's super exciting. I really am tempted, but I don't know. I have so many Dominions videos. I really shouldn't record anymore yet. But someday we will do it, and it's gonna be great. That's it. That's it. Dominions, solar roamanging, wizardry, and then over on the exploring series, single file for a little bit more of a philosophical one. My name is Mangg. This has been Hanging with Mangg, and I'll see you fine folks next week.